Welcome back to the channel. The grey man concept, following on from my heads up video a few days ago, looking at the grey man concept from a general member of the public and a prepper point of view. So you and I are members of the public. I'm a long-time standing prepper. If you're a prepper in the military, you're not part of the members of the public really. If you are a prepper, you've probably got a day-to-day job, and like myself, you're probably either starting or a long-time member of the prepping fraternity. Like I said on my heads up video, I've upset lots of people. This is my fourth time doing this video, and each time I've started ranting, so I'm hopefully going to try and not rant on this, but this is going out however I do it. I'm going to call bullshit on a lot of what the prepper community is saying about the grey man concept. What I want to say right now, and we're going to go through a few things. I made a long list of what people are saying, headings they're using, titles on videos about the grey man concept, chapters they're using on videos, things that they're giving tips for, and I've got a list here and I'm going to go through it, and like I said, I'm going to call bullshit on a lot of it. I've worked worldwide on every continent, so I've worked in some of the shittiest places, hellholes in the world, but I've also worked in the sort of millionaire, billionaire type places as well in my close protection work. One of the things that I want to say right now is, however old you are right now, you are the grey man. One of the things that people talk about is, how do you become the grey man? Well, you don't. You are the grey man right now, and when I conclude all this at the end, you'll understand why. So one of the things they talk about is clothing. So here's a piece of advice: wear clothes. Wear clothes, that's it. Don't have to be drab clothes. What these preppers say is you've got to wear drab clothes, and what the concept is that you can come out of your door and you're going to walk around and nobody's going to notice you because you're so nondescript. You're going to be invisible, you're going to be grey. You can walk down the road and nobody will take any notice of you. What a load of crap. As soon as you walk out of your door, somebody's going to notice you. Your family's going to notice you, your neighbours are going to notice you, your friends are going to notice you, people might say good morning to you. I've just seen one, and I was going to come on to that later on, but now I've just said that. One prepper was saying, if somebody says hello to me, I've failed at being the grey man. If somebody asks me for directions, I've failed to be the grey man because I've been spotted. I'll come on to some Walter Mitty types a little later on, but wear clothes, please, wear clothes. Everybody wears clothes. They wear bright clothes, they wear drab clothes, they wear long trousers, short trousers, t-shirts, vests, dress clothes. Like I said, I've worked in every shithole around the world and in all the millionaire and billionaire places. Everybody wears the same type of clothes. I've never gone out of my way to become the grey man. Working in Moscow, walking around Red Square, walking around the Kremlin. Fine, I'm 6'3", I weighed over 200 pounds. Didn't alter my dress, didn't alter who I was, and I'll come on to that a bit. I've worked in shanty towns in South Africa, favelas in South America. I've worked in some really, bad places, and in the good places. So wear clothes. There's a start for you. And I'll explain why. So no clothes, don't wear bright clothes. What a load of rubbish. As soon as you watch a prepper's video, or a video on the grey man concept, they will show you a clip of a load of people, just a street clip. They'll be in bright clothes, drab clothes, everyday clothes. I can guarantee 2 minutes later you'll have forgotten everyone on that video. Doesn't make any difference. Unless, and I'm going to come on to it later, like me, so I train behavioural detection. I train people how to spot all the bad guys out there. So when I'm walking down the road, I'm looking at people all the time. Nobody does that. Yeah, unless you're a weirdo like me who does it for a living. Nobody's walking down the road pigeonholing people, unless you're somebody like me. Wear a baseball cap and pull it down so nobody can see you. How does that work? So one of the things that I look out for are people who are trying to hide. So all the scumbags out there, the people that want to go and murder somebody, rob somebody, rape somebody, they're all going to work the same way. They're all going to choose targets the same way. Look at the phone snatchers. What do they wear? All the scumbags that we see these days, all the knife crime and everything else, they've all got hoodies on. They're all dressed in black. They all wear face masks. They're all trying to hide the face. Why do you want to hide your face? Why? one of the things I've just seen, which I was going to come on to later, one of the preppers was saying, if somebody comes too close to me while I'm in a shop, I've failed in my grey man. If somebody says hello to me, I've failed because I've been spotted. If somebody asks me for directions, I've failed because I've been spotted. What a load of bollocks. You're not going to be invisible. Yeah. Have a hoodie in your backpack. No, I don't carry a backpack. I don't know about you, but I don't carry a backpack. I've got a backpack. I've got 2 backpacks in my car, and I've got a belt kit as well, and a trauma pack. Backpack for close protection is totally different from my get home bag, which is totally different, which is a 3-day bag, and I've got a belt kit. I'll go through these some point later on, and I've got a 1-day belt kit. But I don't wear, and I very rarely wear them close protection as well. Have a hoodie in your backpack. So what's that going to say? You put a hoodie on, and what they're relating to with this is if you're caught up in a riot, caught up in a demonstration, or you want to change your clothing, have a hoodie. What does hoodie say to you? And I've just been talking about that. It's what all the bad guys out there. So why do you want to be seen as one of the bad guys? And I've talked about this when I've talked about riots on my other videos. Have a character. Have a grey man character. What did I just say at the very start of this? You are the grey man right now. So why do you want to be in a grey man character? What character is a grey man character? Are you miserable? You can't be happy, because if you're laughing and joking and everything, you're bringing attention to yourself, so to speak. And stay in character while you're outside so nobody notices you. Can you see how stupid this is? And I'm going to ask some questions and find out who are the Walter Mitty's out there. What world are they living in? Stay on task. What the hell does that mean? I mean, I do know what it means. A bit of a rhetorical question there. Stay on task. Okay, so when I go out of my house, I'm going to Tesco's for a pint of milk, or I'm going to the barber's for the haircut. Stay on task and don't let anybody let you deviate from that or make you deviate from that. Yeah, sorry mate, I'm really miserable. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to say sorry if I cut somebody up on, if I'm driving into town, if I bump into somebody. I shouldn't be bumping into somebody because that's going to bring attention to myself. So there you go. Can you see how stupid this is? Stay on task. Stick to your plan. Yeah, I'm going to go for a pint of milk. If somebody says hello to me, fine. Don't let anyone come or stand too close to you. Don't let anyone smell you, talk to you. Right, I don't suffer from BO. Now, with the behavioural detection, we talk about spatial awareness. And I do this when when I've been doing penetration testing in the past. I've got I've got an event, I've had an event going on a site, and I've got my behavioural detection officers monitoring the queue. Who does not want to talk to other people? Who is standing away from other people? Who's got no people with them? They haven't come to this event with, everybody else has got friends. Why have they got no friends with them? Why are they not talking to other people? Why are they standing on their own? So we call it spatial awareness. And we look at this when we're looking for people who are not doing exactly everything else that's happening on that baseline. So if you want to stand and move away and look nervous, and I'll touch on this on the close protection one because I've seen it and I've been involved in it myself and I've gone, what an idiot, but I'll explain that later on. So yeah, spatial awareness. Don't let anybody smell you, or carry some wipes. So if you've just been for a curry, so I've just seen one guy talking about, you don't want anybody smelling you because they'll remember the smell and everything else. Unless we had, like when it used to be a smoking place in the UK where you could smoke indoors, you could smoke in pubs and restaurants and everything like that. You go off for a night, you come back, you'd stink of smoke in your clothes in the morning. Nobody's going to smell you. Nobody's going to remember a perfume, an aftershave, a deodorant. They're not going to smell if you've just been in a Chinese restaurant or for a curry or something like that. These people talk absolute rubbish. Don't let anybody speak to you. So somebody goes, excuse me, can you tell me how to get to there? Or you're in a shop and somebody goes, do you want some help? And you just completely blank them and walk away. How stupid is that? How noticeable is that going to make you look? How somebody's going to remember that, aren't they? Then going, oh no, sorry, I'm all fine, thanks. Movement. We're not fish, okay? They talk about movement as if we're fish. Go the same way as everybody else is walking. Now, I don't know where you live, but I'm pretty sure that on any side of the road you can walk in any direction you want, and most people do every day. It's not like a car where we drive on one side of the road or the other. We're not fish where we all swim in the same direction, and then unless there's an attack and everybody bomb bursts, all the fish bomb burst when a predator comes in. Walk in the same direction. So figure this one out. Walk in the same direction as everybody else. Move at the same speed as everybody else, and don't deviate from that. So one things I do teach people is how to walk on, what side of the street to walk on. So it's harder to get kidnapped if you've got a kidnap threat against you if you're walking against the traffic. Yeah. So it's harder for people to stop, come up from behind you in a car, stop and take you into the car. So that's, part of that is what I teach. Yes, you can't help it if you're going to a venue and you've got narrow walkways. So I did a video on the, not Ariana Grande, I did that one as well though, but Taylor Swift concert where we were looking at threats. We were looking at threats from the train stations, from car parks on the route into Wembley Stadium. Very narrow confines, everybody walking the same way. But we don't walk like that in general. Yeah. People walk like that if they're on a demonstration. They'll all be walking the same way. These people think that everybody's going to walk the same way. Walk the same speed as everybody else. Why? You'll never get anywhere. I'm a fast walker. My wife's even faster than I am. Some old folks are walking really slow. If you live in a predominantly old people area, they're going to be walking a lot slower than you are if you're younger than them. So movement, what a load of rubbish. And you can see how this builds up, and it's totally, unrealistic. A grey man backpack, a grey man vehicle. So now you're going to go and buy a grey man vehicle. What's a grey man vehicle? Something that's nondescript. Okay, I know, a black Mini. Okay, I'm going to be even greyer. I'm going to smash the headlights so nobody can see where I'm driving at night. They don't know I'm there on the road. But you can see how this myth has built up and built up and built up, and people just put their own take on it and come out with some utter bullshit. What they talk about though are things like baselines. So I've just wrote a few things down here because what they're not telling you is all these things I'm going to list now: baselines, movement, and I do talk about how to move tactically down a street, a busy street. Not getting knocked over, not walking, not wanting to get pickpocketed. If you've got you're carrying a purse, you're carrying a bag, you might have a bag on you. How you're going to move through a crowd. Situational awareness, counter surveillance, anti-surveillance, escape and evasion. They talk about all this. All these preppers talk about all this as if it's part of being a grey man, but it's not. Because like I said, you are the grey man right now, and I'll explain at the end in a couple of minutes, what I meant by that. So, but what I want to ask you is a number of questions, and this is where it gets really, really weird when you're looking at all these preppers. So first of all, who are you? So to yourself, answer that question. Who are you? Yep, I'm Joe Blogs. Where do you work? Okay. Are you? So when you ask yourself, you are not. I can probably guarantee this. You are not James Bond. You are not Jason Bourne. You are not Jack Bauer. Okay, so I might have hit on a few people whose names are that, but you are not the spies. Like I said, I've worked everywhere, on every continent. I'm not a spy. I know lots and lots of skills. You are not one of those three. So where do you work? Shelf stacking in Tesco's, you work in Screwfix, you work in an office, you're a dentist, you're a doctor, you might stack shelves in Walmart. Sorry, I don't know other shops really in around the world. But where do you work? Who are you hiding from? When we look at this grey man shit, hiding your face, trying to walk through, who are you hiding from? Now, some people are targeted. Some people have stalkers. Some people have, been got kidnap threats on. So I've protected and trained lots of people to do different things. Ask yourself realistically, who are you hiding from? Everybody knows. Your friends know where you live. You've got a house, haven't you? Yeah. So I've seen one film where James Bond's got a house, and he's not unboxed. If you've seen the film, where he's sitting there and the Miss Moneypenny comes in and goes, "You just moved in?" Because all these boxes there. And he goes, "No." You know, you've got a house. People know where you live. Your friends know you. What are you going to do? And like I said, you are the grey man right now. What they're trying to tell you now is, all these preppers and everybody else is saying this, have a character, change who you are. You've grown up with a persona that you've built, the way you dress, the way you move, where you like to go, who you like to be with, what you like to eat, what you like to drink. That's you, okay? And that's why you are the grey man. Nobody gives a shit about you, yeah? Unless you're being targeted from something. Nobody gives a shit about me, you know, walking down the street. That's why we're the grey man. So what's going to stand out is you adopting something totally different and becoming a whole different personality, a whole different way of doing things. Now, who's going to notice that? Your family, your friends, people who know you, your acquaintances. They're going to say, "Why are you dressing like that? Why are you acting like that? Why are you wearing these badges? Why are you doing that?" And what do we do with that? When we're looking at checking back on school shootings, on stabbings, on murders and everything else, when we look on Facebook and all the other social media, we see a changing pattern from the people who were normal one day and then going down an extremist road to where they were going to do either a terrorist act or a school shooting or something like that. The dress changes, the mannerisms change, the ideology changes, more argumentative. So we're looking at a change in personality. Why do you want to change your personality? Not feel comfortable with it, so it's going to stand out. Your dress, that's not you. You're going to stand out to everybody. That is why you are the grey man right now. It doesn't make sense. Why change everything? You're not recognised. One, if you're not famous, obviously, because you're doing the same thing. You're blending in every single day. Yeah. Nobody notices you walking down the street because nobody gives a shit about us. Yeah, nobody gives a shit about me, nobody gives a shit about you. So you're blending in already. When you're not blending in is when you're now standing out because you've changed your whole dress sense, your whole personality, and now you're really acting like one of the bad guys who we can spot if we're trained to spot. So what I want to ask you is, what Walter Mitty life are you living? Are you living in your head as a super spy? Do you think you're you do, I don't know, wargaming at the weekend, airsoft, you've got a beard, you like your sunglasses, you wear your baseball cap, you wear your plaid shirt with a t-shirt on underneath it. Do you think you're some sort of, SF person? What Walter Mitty life are you living in? Who's following you? Who are you escaping from? Where are you going? One of the worst pieces of advice I see is if you are caught in a riot, you are caught in a demonstration, you are caught in some sort of shit at the fan scenario, being grey is not what you want. That is totally when you need to be the anti-grey man. I've heard people say, yeah, you need to be more grey. You need your hoodie on then, blend in with everybody else. Okay, so if you're not smashing the place up, you're not robbing, you're not stealing, you're not raping, you're not killing people, you're going to stand out. You've got a demonstration walking one way, you're walking the other way, you're going to stand out. Yeah, if you're not leaving the area fast enough. Being caught in a shit at the fan scenario is where you want to be tactical. You want to look tactical. You want to look like the biggest, baddest motherfucker on that street that's giving out, whether you can fight or not, or defend yourself or not, but you want to be giving out that impression. Fuck off. Don't fuck with me. Go and seek life elsewhere. That is when you do not want to be the grey man. And I talk about how to get out of riots and demonstrations. Like I say, I've worked riots for TV news reporters and everything like that. That is the place you do not want to be a grey man. I've gone on a bit longer, maybe 4 minutes, longer than I wanted to on this. I'm going to be doing a webinar workshop next month on how not to become the grey man. There's a lot more to it than what I've just put into this 19 minutes here. I hope I've given you something to think about. There's going to be lots of you disagreeing with me on this. Stay dangerous. My name's Rock Higgins, Viper Tactical Training.